DG Law and Order has said that 6 were on board during the crash. My colleague Kishore joins us for more details. Kishore, take us to the latest. We're learning that perhaps 5 people have lost their lives. It's not clear yet, but take us through exactly what happened.
देखिए, अभी तक जो सूचना मिल रही है उसमें 5 लोगों की मौत हुई है। ये जो हेलीकॉप्टर है ये गुप्त काशी से केदारनाथ धाम की तरफ यात्रियों को लेकर जा रहा था। श्रद्धालु थे इसमें। गुप्त काशी से केदारनाथ लगभग 10 मिनट की दूरी है। जो उसकी दूरी की अगर बात करें तो उसी बीच में गौरीकुंड जब ये पहुंचा हेलीकॉप्टर और त्रिजु नारायण वहाँ एक जगह आती है, उसके बीच में जंगल में कहीं क्रैश हो गया। जो जानकारी मिल रही है उसमें 5 लोगों की डेथ है। वहाँ जो स्थानीय लोग हैं जो सुबह अपने जानवरों के लिए, जो मवेशी है उनके लिए चारा लेने जाते हैं, उनकी जानकारी के बाद ये पता चला कि एक हेलीकॉप्टर क्रैश हो गया। रेस्क्यू टीम तुरंत वहां पहुंचने वाली है और अभी देखा जाएगा कि वो वहां पर नंबर ऑफ डेथ्स कितना है। इसके अलावा जो जानकारी मिल रही है उसमें कुछ टेक्निकल दिक्कत और मौसम चूँकि ख़राब चल रहा है उसकी वजह भी ये बताई जा रही है। लेकिन अभी तक जब तक वहाँ पर रेस्क्यू टीम और वहाँ पर अधिकारी नहीं पहुँचते तब तक बताना मुश्किल है। लेकिन फिलहाल ये दुखद सूचना है कि 5 लोगों की उसमें डेथ हो गई है, जो जानकारी मिल रही है। और अब तक यानी 47 दिन हो गए हैं चारधाम यात्रा को शुरू हुए, उसमें ये 5वां हेलीकॉप्टर का हादसा है। हालांकि कुछ हादसों में लोग बचे थे, लेकिन गौरी को जो गंगोत्री की तरफ एक हेलीकॉप्टर जाता है उसमें 6 लोगों की डेथ हुई थी और ये दूसरा बड़ा हादसा सामने आया है। जी।
Right, Kishore, we're learning this was an Aryan Aviation helicopter. Do we have more information on who these people were? They were perhaps pilgrims who were heading to Kedarnath Dham. And was this then a private helicopter or tourist service that was flying?
बिल्कुल, आर्यन एविएशन का ये हेलीकॉप्टर है। अभी तक ये क्लियर नहीं हो रहा है कि ये वहाँ से वहाँ जो लोग थे ये कहाँ के लोग थे, क्योंकि अगर गुप्त काशी से ये हेलीकॉप्टर केदारनाथ के लिए उड़ा है तो जाहिर सी बात है उसमें जो नॉर्मल जो लोग होते हैं जो टिकट लेके जाते हैं, ये चॉपर फ्लाइट पूरी चॉपर बुक करके नहीं जाते। वहाँ से मात्र 10 मिनट की दूरी है। फिलहाल अभी ये पता लगना, अभी थोड़ी देर में ही पता लग पाएगा कि वो लोग कहाँ के थे। ये श्रद्धालु जो चारधाम यात्रा के लिए आ रखे थे, केदारनाथ दर्शन जा रहे थे, ये कहाँ के थे। लेकिन अभी इसमें पूरी तरह से उनकी बॉडी रिकवर्स करनी है। अभी जो जानकारी मिल रही है, रेस्क्यू टीम हालांकि ज़रूर पहुंच गई है वहाँ पर। गौरीकुंड जो गौरी गांव है, गौरी गांव के ऊपर ये हेलीकॉप्टर क्रैश होने की जानकारी मिल रही है। फिलहाल अभी आधिकारिक रूप से यानी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के तरफ से अभी इस बात में कोई पुख्ता जानकारी नहीं मिल पाई है कि नंबर ऑफ डेथ्स कितना है, लेकिन 5 लोगों की डेथ की सूचना ज़रूर मिल रही है।
Right, Kishore, thank you for joining us and bringing us those details. Continue tracking this story as it develops and we get more details. Israel and Iran exchanged a fresh wave of missile attacks overnight, spilling on to early this morning, escalating tensions and raising fears of a wider regional conflict. Iran also launched missiles at targets across Israel, including port city of Haifa, after Israeli forces bombarded civilian and energy infrastructure across Iran. Israel's military announced that it had struck the Iranian Defense Ministry headquarters in Tehran. It also claimed to have hit several locations around the capital that it described as being, quote-unquote, related to the Iranian regime's nuclear weapons project.
אזרחי ישראל, אני גאה בכם. אני גאה בכושר העמידה שלכם. אני גאה ברוח שלכם. ודווקא כשיש פגיעות בעורף, אתם מניפים את הדגל. אתם לא נכנעים. לצערי היו גם 3 אבדות אתמול של אזרחים יקרים שנהרגו בהתקפות הללו. אני משתתף בצער המשפחות, ואני קורא לכם שוב, הישמעו להנחיות פיקוד העורף, הן מצילות חיים.
شهادت سرداران و دانشمندان عزیز که البته برای همه سنگین است و تعدادی از مردم غیر نظامی رو به ملت ایران، به خانواده های اونها تبریک و تسلیت عرض میکنم. و اما مطلبی که مایل بودم با ملت عزیزمون در میان بذارم اینه که رژیم صهیونیستی اشتباه بزرگی کرد، خطای بزرگی کرد، غلطی کرد و عواقب او او رو بیچاره خواهد کرد به توفیق الهی. ملت ایران از خون شهدای گرانقدر نخواهد گذشت، از تجاوز با آسمان کشورش صرف نظر نخواهد کرد.
My colleague Vishal joins us with more details. Vishal, the tit-for-tat firing has been going on since yesterday and it seems to have escalated now with ministry buildings being hit, is what Israel is saying.
Yes, Aarti. Other than the ministry buildings, reports also suggest that some other nuclear facilities that were left out in the first wave of attacks from Israel that have also been hit. So Israel continues to target Iran's crucial nuclear facilities. That was on their top of the list, Israel's list that they wanted to attack, and they've been able to attack some of the most important infrastructures in Iran's capacity, such as the Natanz nuclear facility, which incurred some heavy losses, but the main facility is almost intact. So it remains to be seen whether this strategy from Israel will be successful for them or not. But some fresh reports are coming in which suggest that at least 3 people have been killed south of Tel Aviv in fresh wave of attacks from Iran. Iran launched a fresh wave of attack just about 2 hours ago, and some hypersonic, quote-unquote hypersonic missiles seem to have landed in southern part of Tel Aviv, which seemingly have killed at least 3 to 4 people.
Right, Vishal. And as far as the escalation is concerned, there seems to be some domestic fallout as well due to this. As you know, we have seen that people in Iran as well have been blaming the United States for what has happened between both nations.
Yeah, that is correct. So, United States has been blamed from the start of this conflict. Iran was first to comment on it and say that it's not possible that Israel went through with the plan, with this huge plan that was in the making for at least 8 to 10 months and executed it almost successfully without US having, without them having US on board. So that is what they've been alleging, and they have given a direct threat to the US troops in the region. There are about 40,000 US troops in the region which are at risk of retaliation from Iran. US did preemptively move some of these troops and some of the key personnel from the area in the last 48 hours, but still there are thousands of troops in the area that are at the risk of being targeted.
Right, Vishal, we're also getting more details from the ground of how Iranian missiles have been hitting people in Tel Aviv as well. Explosions have forced people out of their homes, out of their hotels, into shelters in Israel.
Yes, so Israel has this mechanism of blaring out sirens, and also there are bunkers in almost all the houses in Israel. So they are, deploying that mechanism and telling people to, get into the bunkers, not go out, follow all the instructions, because missiles have been raining down. Because although the Iron Dome of Israel is quite successful in defending the skies of Israel, but still the barrage has been so heavy from Iran's side that some of the missiles have been able to pierce through that mechanism of Iron Dome and land in the territory of Israel. As you mentioned, Tel Aviv was targeted just a few hours ago, and as I mentioned a few moments ago, at least 3 to 4 people have been killed in the area of Bat Yam, which is about 50 to 60 kilometers south of Tel Aviv.
Right, stay on with us, Vishal. We'll come back to you for more details, but let's take a look at this report that my colleague Alistair Bunkle sent us from Tel Aviv.
Well, this is Rishon LeZion, which is south of Tel Aviv, a suburb really of Tel Aviv, very much a residential area. I mean, no sign of sort of any military installations or anything like that here. And these were houses that took a direct hit from an Iranian ballistic missile last night. 2 people were killed here, dozens injured when one of 4 waves of ballistic missiles that were launched at Israel throughout the night hit directly here, and the damage is pretty extraordinary to all the area around it. I mean, we come over here, look at many of the vehicles are completely destroyed. I'm not sure whether this is, I don't think so, but I'm not sure whether this has been put up there by people clearing away. I don't think that's the case. I think it's probably blown up above that car. The other houses around here as well have sustained really severe damage. You can see shrapnel marks in the walls, windows blown out, roofs are completely knocked in as well. So the Israeli missile defense systems are exceptionally good, but the Israelis themselves admit they're not perfect. Sometimes a success rate of 90%, but if 100 missiles are fired, as was the case during the various waves last night, then that means some of the missiles can land, and they don't land in open spaces, and they impact civilian areas like this. The damage is really quite big. So, as I say, this is a civilian area. This is very much roads and cul-de-sacs of houses, and if the Israelis figure that Iran is willing to hit civilian areas, then that could potentially persuade the Israeli military and the Israeli government to widen their scope of operations against targets in Iran, perhaps to things like oil refineries, perhaps to senior political figures, as opposed to generally military targets, nuclear targets that they've been hitting so far. But yeah, just to finally show you, the site here, I would say the blast radius, including houses around here, is 40-50 meters from a single ballistic missile.
Right, my colleague Vishal still with us. Vishal, now as far as the damage is concerned, it seems that there's more damage caused on the Iranian side. We've seen, like you mentioned, nuclear sites or nuclear storage facilities that have been attacked, ministry buildings that have been attacked, and we're also learning that oil refineries, Iran itself saying that this Sharan oil depot in Tehran was attacked by Israel as well.
Well, that is correct. So as I mentioned, the top on the list of Israel's targets are these nuclear facilities, these oil facilities, because and also some ballistic missile facilities, because Iran has one of the biggest stockpiles of ballistic missiles on the planet. The numbers vary. Some estimates suggest that it could be as much as 30,000 ballistic missiles. How many of those ballistic missiles it can actually use at the moment, how many of them actually remain in Iran's arsenal, that is open to discussion and speculation, but they clearly seem to have in its arsenal quite a bit, because there have been continuous barrages of strikes, and as one of our reporters on the ground mentioned, that some of these missiles have been able to pierce through the most sophisticated defense systems in the world, which is the Iron Dome, and they've been able to strike some civilian areas, and damage has been heavy.
Right, and Vishal, now yesterday as well, we've been tracking how, because of the attacks that Israel has been doing on Iran, and likewise, oil prices had gone up, crude oil prices had gone up, and that again is going to continue today and going forward as well, because we don't see in the next few days at least this escalation coming down.
Well, that is correct. So what initial reports suggested about 48 hours ago to 36 hours ago, that Israel is looking to extend this conflict for at least 2 weeks. So Iran will also keep responding. And just about yesterday, late night, there was a comment from